I've just seen stars.
That's not good.
No. Well, welcome back to the Outdoor Drive podcast. Thanks for joining us here on another week's episode of The Drive. I'm your boy, East Coast Trev, and
It's just Steve.
again,
Just Steve.
Steve. It's all right. It's all
But
right.
I'm
Miraculous Steve.
call it what. But do you think about it? This is our first actual podcast since the start of the New Year's. We pre-recorded some stuff before I went to Arizona. This is the first time we've really sat down and done a show since I got back. It feels like it's been forever.
This is very true. Weird. I like it. I like the feeling of 2021.
Not me, dude. We're kind of at that point. It's like I got my 7-day free trial into the year, and I'm already over it and ready to turn it back in.
For what?
I mean, it's just shaping up to be just as much of a shit show as last year.
Oh yeah, if y'all think that 2020 was bad, wait until you sit and take a ride with 2021.
Yeah, it's
Just gonna say that.
Yeah, it's just stupid shit off the wall, bottom to top, left to right.
It's just starting there, It's whatever.
Not the way I
really
cared to kick off the world's 2021, but you know what? I don't give a fuck because 2021 is gonna be banging as far as the show goes. We got some
That's right.
big shit planned.
That's why I didn't really care about the rest. I was saying, like, in general, like, you thought 2020 was crazy with us. Wait until you sit down and take the drive from 2021, because shit's gonna get out of control. We already started and kicked off the new series. If you guys haven't gone and seen it, Behind the Product, which is a little sub series only for the YouTube page. So if you guys haven't checked it out, get on over there and check that out.
I'm glad you remembered the title because I made the damn thing and I didn't remember it.
I'm just glad that you made a title for it because I didn't know really what to call it. So,
dude, I racked my brain for a while, and after I'd made the show and done everything, I was like, "Oh, I might just go with that."
I'm liking it. I'm digging it. I think it's good. So if you guys haven't checked that out, make sure to get onto the Outdoor Drive podcast YouTube page. I guess there's probably a little sub series. Knowing Steven, he's probably put it in its own little category, but it's behind the product.
It's under the products. What's the word? I can't even think of it.
Tab.
Yeah, tab.
There we go.
A tab. Product overview tab.
So if you guys haven't gone there, go and check that out. If you guys are there, please just hit the subscribe button and just help us out a little bit. We can definitely use more subscribers. That would be greatly appreciated. And if you guys haven't already, give us a 5-star review on iTunes and share the podcast around to all your friends. I know there's been a lot of that. And going and starting off 2021, we got an honoree reward from podcastsuggestions.com, their first annual thing, and we made the cut. So it must be kind of important. The 4 listeners that we do have probably enjoy it. So we can't thank you guys enough for everything you guys do. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing this. Well, actually, we probably would, but just nobody would listen to us, I guess.
Yeah, it would be a little different, but we keep doing it either way because we do it because we enjoy it, not because
your mom listens, my mom listens, our wives listens. There's our 4 listeners. Everybody else, it doesn't really matter from there, I guess.
I don't even think our wives listen at this point. I think they're sick of us.
That's true. They listen to us enough, so why would they listen to the podcast?
Exactly. Why get
So what's new for you in 2021? What is kind of kicked off your 2021?
So far, 2021 has been a very slow start. Got out one more time before the season ended, and it was kind of the same standard shit. Not a lot going on. And sorry, I'm clicking away on dumb shit while we talk. Got back home after Arizona. Just kind of moseyed on through things. Work was, of course, chaos after everyone being off after the holidays. So that's been a drag, but you know what? I'm happy. Job security, stupid people ensure that I am employed. That's the best.
It's like being a cop.
Put it. kind of is. Only luckily, I don't have that bad a situation.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not really. I mean, like criminals keep them employed, just like dumbasses keep you employed. So
Yes, yes. And then really, it's just been kind of rolling, getting the bow set back up for target season, and kind of prepping and planning everything we're going to do this year. We got everything kind of lined up where we need for some huge opportunities for this year's deer seasons coming up, possibly elk season out west. Just see how everything plans out. I don't want to put too many details out there now,
easy,
but
easy. I'm
it
ready to
could be
book
fun.
flights. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll put it this way. We are in great shape for some upcoming firsts for
Yeah.
both Trev and myself. And I think it's going to be a stellar 2021 as far as the hunting season goes.
I'm just trying to figure out if there's enough days in all the seasons if I can try and cram in everything I'm trying to do. So, and every time I turn around, there's always one extra thing that gets added to the list. Like,
I feel you.
y'all might not see me from like May 1st till like August 31st. Like, I'm just gonna work every single day,
Yeah.
just so I can do what I got to do for the off season.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
wish I could
you're
go back to work
definitely
tomorrow.
gonna have to grind from the end of turkey season on just to
Oh.
make sure.
I might have to get a job at like a fucking gas station here for the next couple of weeks just so I can make some extra money just to add it to so I can add it to the bankroll.
Do some two shifting.
Fuck, man.
Yeah. Hey, it's all
Not
right
that I
though.
want to, but shed season. You know what? I'm gonna sell sheds. You know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I guess.
You've already kicked off shed season, so you've got to go have some fun. And
yeah, we started with moose shed hunting up north. We
Yeah.
went on our first snow moose shed hunt. Caddy Cowboy and Captain Mike and myself got to go up there. We stayed up there for a long weekend. We were supposed to go up on the snowmobiles, and then the snow kind of fucking dissipated. So we didn't go up on those, and we ended up going up on snowshoes. And well, we're supposed to go on snowshoes.
I was
Then
gonna say, wait a minute.
we realized that there was not enough snow for snowshoes, and we just trudged through like 6 inches of snow.
I was gonna say, based on that video, I think it was more ballerina shoes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
There was some twinkle toes stuff going on in that
snow parkour.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's a very good way to describe that. Tuck and roll.
More or less. Captain Mike ended up finding an old one. The moose were just kind of like spread out, and a lot of moose were still holding, so things were kind of tough. Trying to find horns, but hopefully we'll get a chance to go back up before the springtime comes. But it looks like we got a trip planned here in May to go back and do that. And then I came home, and me and Ruby, which is my red lab that I've been training for shed hunting, got out and did a little bit of shed hunting, and she found her first deadhead. It was kind of like I found it and she came in with the assist, I guess, but it's part of the training.
It's a training moment, man.
It was cool. I seen it and I kind of, just sat there and waited for her to find it. We never really messed around with deadheads. So like she went over to it. It's a different
scent than bones versus meat and skin.
Well, so like oops, sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh, it kind of like lagged out for a second. She had gone over. So there was like on one of the abutting properties, there had been where they had like stacked some of their like kills, like hides and bones and shit. And she kept running over there, and I kept calling her off it. I'm like, stop playing with that shit, like dragging it around. Leave it alone. So I call her back. So I think that, and not even like 10 minutes later, we had found the deadhead, and I think she kind of like was kind of nervous because it was this kind of same scent, and I kept calling her back off it because I didn't want her to mess with it. So
that's a shitty situation, but
it's tough. It's definitely tough.
You could have never planned for that.
No. And the thing too is that she's at that young age where like she's looking for my guidance as me being the pack leader. So she doesn't really leave me all that long, or she kind of stays kind of tight to me when we're in the woods. And sometimes like I throw a bone, and so she kind of gets like what's going on. So it's gonna just snap one day. It's on,
it'll click.
it's been fun. I don't really care. I mean, even if she doesn't take to it or whatever, which I know that she will, but even if she didn't, just having the pup in the woods with me, it's so much more fun walking around the woods with the dog.
Oh
Even
yeah.
though she doesn't do shit, it's still fun to walk around with her. And she's what's gonna end up happening, I think, honestly, like this is my prediction on it. She's just gonna come out of the woods one day, just holding a fucking giant shed, and I'm just gonna drop to my knees and start crying. I think it's all
Yeah.
just gonna play out. But
No, I feel that, dude. I'll tell you one thing, after coming home from Arizona, like right now, I wish nothing more than things that have worked out in a way that I was home, 2 months from now, and I could go make the hike up Sierra Montosa back home. Because on top there is a bowl, and I've never gone up there and came out with less than 13 horns.
that's fucking nuts.
And I mean, elk, mule deer, doesn't matter. You may even find some antelope sheds. I mean, it's just the ultimate perfect place to find bone in Arizona. And driving
awesome.
up there past that mountain, I'm going, God, I wish I could get up there during shed season.
Because they have an actual season.
No, it's just
No, you don't. Arizona doesn't. I know like Montana and stuff have an actual season when you can and can't shed.
no. Arizona, It's just go and go any time of the year you find them. It's fair game type thing. There's no claim. There's no nothing. The only thing you got to look out for is, if it's a dead head and it's what Game and Fish would consider new or recently deceased. I think it was like 60% flesh. The only reason I know that is the sheriff that pulled us over spotlighting and explained this to us. Anyway, another story. Then you want to call them and report it so they can come out and see if they can investigate if it was poached or not, etc. But for the most part, dude, you find bone out there, it's fair game. And I've found more bone up on that mountaintop than anywhere else. So anyone in Arizona, I dare you in 2 months to go have a wild race up that 6-mile trail to the top at 13,000 feet and go find all those bones, because that's where they're at.
That's crazy. Because there's some states, like I know, like we were talking about it, Alberta, Canada, some of the Saskatchewan, wherever in Canada, if you find a moose deadhead, because like that's like one of my things I want more than anything in the world is a moose deadhead, like a full out paddled moose fucking deadhead. And in some states, you literally can't take it. It just has to sit there. You can't call DNR. You can't do nothing. It has to literally sit there. I would lose my mind if I had to just walk away from like a 50-inch paddle fucking deadhead. It would drive me nuts. But
I would get creative.
cut them off. I don't know. I
cut
would
them off, take them home, reattach them. I would. I don't know.
snap
I
the
would
skull
get
in
creative.
half.
There's no way I could do that.
Me neither.
I get it. There's a point in time that it's like, okay, here's the law. It's a deadhead. But am I really going to walk away from a 50 or 60-inch wide moose? I'm going to say a 20-inch wide moose deadhead. I don't care if it's got just flippers.
It's
I mean,
tough.
that doesn't happen often. So I would get creative.
Yeah. You got to follow the rules though, Speaking of, not many people have been. We'll just sorry, it's a little dig.
Yeah, that's all right. Well,
somebody else got in trouble again, but we'll leave that alone.
It happens. No, yeah, agreed.
We'll leave that one alone.
Well, speaking of laws and some of the changes and things coming up,
should we tune them in?
Drop them in. Let's go ahead and turn that thing up.
All right, let's do that.
Hey everyone, Mike here with some news for your cruise. We're going to start this one off in South Dakota, who is following suit on gray wolf management now that the gray wolf has been delisted. In South Dakota, game fish and parks will allow sportsmen and women, trappers, landowners, and livestock producers the ability to harvest gray wolves across the state. The South Dakota Game Fish and Parks is not supporting gray wolf expansion in the state. Those interested will need to have either a predator varmint license, fur bearer license, or any resident or non-resident hunting license. Trappers must have a fur bearer license. Landowners who take a wolf on their own land and any youth hunters under the age of 16 do not need to have a license. And game fishing parks would like anyone who harvests a wolf to contact a wildlife conservation officer within 24 hours of the harvest so DNA and other data can be collected. Now on to West Virginia, where hunters will soon be able to, and actually right now are able to enter a lottery to hunt wild boars on designated private lands owned by West Virginia Natural Resource Partners. Only 200 permits will be issued, and the lottery is limited to West Virginia residents. The hunt will take place on 8,000 acres of private land in Logan County during the wild boar firearm season from February 5th to 7th of 2021. Residents will be able to submit an application for a permit for the cost of $10 through wvhunt.com, and that application period does end on January 14th, so get those in if you'd like one of those 200 permits. So now off to Vermont, where the state game wardens and fish and game educational program staff will be doing educational patrols on the ice this winter. These are aimed at those new to ice fishing, those looking for tips, learning about fish, and those just simply wanting to meet and talk to the wardens. The educational patrols will last on average from 1 to 2 hours, and no registration will be required to take part in this. Participants should bring their own fishing equipment and set up on the ice to fish. To find upcoming patrols near you, you can visit vtfishandwildlife.com. And personally, I think this is amazing. I remember when I was a kid and stories from my dad about the game wardens being the sportsman's best friends, always there to help you and just be out there in our best interest. So I really think it's great that the state is trying to bring that relationship back to where it was. So hopefully we'll get some feedback on that. So now off to Virginia, and this one's for you, Stephen, where House Bill 1799 was introduced to allow Sunday hunting on public lands. The bill would remove the current prohibition against hunting or killing on public lands a wild bird or wild animal, including a nuisance species, with a gun, firearm, or other weapon on Sundays. So contact your legislators if you want the bill to pass. Hunters need to make their voices heard. Our opposition sure does their part. So get on that and see if we can get that passed in Virginia. So how about a couple more records? This time it's a 57-pound, 50-inch long flathead catfish pulled from the Susquehanna River on December 27th, which has been certified as the first ever state record for the invasive species by the Maryland Department of Natural Resources. The fish also tops the current PA record of 56 pounds, 3 ounces, which was caught in May of 2020. The fish was caught by Joshua Dixon from shore using just a medium weight spinning rod. So congrats on that monster fish. And then off to Rhode Island, where a North Kingstown man has caught a new state record rainbow trout. The fisherman, only identified as Joe, if anyone knows Joe's last name, let me know, caught a 12-pound, 9.12 ounce, 29 3/4 inch monster from Barber Pond, and that record beats the 11-pound record that has stood since 1991. So congrats on a beast of a trout. So it's getting to be that time of year, and just kind of a PSA for everyone. If you have any news to send me, one good thing to be on the lookout for right now, as a lot of legislatures are getting into action, you're going to start seeing proposed bills either in sportsmen's favor or against some of the things that we want. If you have any of those, feel free to send them along. And if anyone's interested in learning how to reach out to your legislators or provide testimony and get active on any of those proposed bills, please let me know. As always, you can reach out to me on Facebook at Mike Salter or on Instagram at bearded_bowhunter21. And with that, enjoy the rest of your ride.
Some badass shit coming down the pipe for you Virginia-ins.
Dude, Mike, you're my hero. when you kicked that over, you answered like prayers, literally, because that was one of my big goals, is to start pushing for that and to see that the Deer Alliance is already pushing it and supporting it makes it so much easier for us to all follow in and open it up. Because for a lot of people, there's a misconception, if you haven't hunted public here, that you can. Well, you can't. You can hunt private on Sunday, but not public.
Right.
So that bill is going to let us hunt on Sundays on public, as long as you're not near a church. That
Yeah.
law stands.
Right. 100 yards.
Actually, I think they extended it to 2
Whoa.
for this.
Rough.
But yeah, so I'm stoked. I'm jacked about that. That could be huge for our season.
Yeah, especially when fucking I come down there from Connecticut, so we can actually hunt on Sundays.
Right.
Not
I
have
mean,
to be stuck on private.
ultimately, at least Sunday we went out and found frickin' mushrooms.
That's true.
You know,
Very
we got
true.
some monster morels and had a hell of a feast. But at the same time, I would rather kill a turkey and then find morels in the afternoon.
It's very true. Very
So-
true. Well, man, you know, we probably should do that thing that we always do.
Give some of these
Yeah, give a pat on the back.
some thank yous and welcomes, and I can't believe you haven't left us yet.
It is 2021. We're due for renewal of sponsorship. So let's see how many we made it through to the
Right.
new year.
Yeah, man, fire them off.
All right. First off, we'll start with Timber Tumblers, as always. Timber Tumblers. These guys, they make custom tumblers. And now soon, speaking of, maybe soon, possibly, just gonna throw it out there, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, punch, punch. We have some stickers that are coming from Timber Tumblers. So if you guys haven't checked them out, timbertumblers.com. Go and check them out. Get your custom tumblers, and yeah, fucking get those things. And they don't have to be outdoor drive ones. You can get outdoor drive ones if you want, though. Put your name on them, whatever you want to do. Support us. We'd appreciate it. Nor'easter Game Calls, nor'eastergamecalls.com. Get them in close. All your custom game call needs. WildEdgeInc.com. That's Wild Edge Inc., the leader of mobile hunting. Get all your saddle, step ladder needs over there. Wicked Twisted Bowstrings. That's a tongue twister. Wicked Twisted Bowstrings.com. It's not Wicked and Twisted. It's Wicked Twisted Bowstrings. Get Jillified. Use promo code Outdoor Drive 10 on that one. Save yourself 10% on custom bowstrings that you can design online. Broadside Camo. Broadsidecamo.com. They are the photorealism aerial hunter apparel. Use the promo code Outdoor Drive for that one. If you spend a certain amount, then you can get a certain amount free. If that makes sense, just try it. It'll work. I promise you. Out on the Limb MFG.com. They are the custom manufacturing place for everything hunting related, as far as camera arms. They also do make saddle platforms. They also make tree stands, a little bit of everything and anything. If you can think about it, Matt Garris will make it for you. So go check them out on the Limb MFG.com. And that's it. Those are the ones who love us the most. Did I forget one?
Running through my, I feel like we did, but
I can't think of it. No, we got, what do we get? Timber Tumblers, Nor'easter Game Calls, Wild Edge, Wicked Twisted, and Broadside Camo. That's all of them. And if you want to shout out, we'll shout out Zeus just because they're the shit. ZeusBroadheads.com, New Era. No, it's not ZeusBroadheads.com. It's New Era
Archery.com.
Which, for all of you that didn't have the chance to get Zeus's when they did go out halfway through the season, they are back in stock again, and you guys can go over there and get those for the upcoming season. Practice with them. All those guys that wanted them and couldn't get them, now you can. If not, the Aries is also over there, but the Zeus is also back in stock. So
Nice.
sweet.
New
Shit.
things to come
Awesome.
from them as well, so keep your eye out.
You might hear that here on Behind the Product. Just saying, it's coming. We got some cool shit. Oh, speaking of new shit, real quick, real easy. I bet you like nobody's listening to this part yet, but or anymore. They probably skipped ahead. But Captain Seth's recipe book is going to also be on our YouTube page here shortly in the next couple of weeks. So watch out for that. It's a little wild cooking in the kitchen. I can't even talk. Like I'm like in like bad sentences right now. I'm
That's
out
all
of
right.
it.
No, basically, the easiest way to put it is that you're everyday guy or woman in the kitchen with everyday recipes. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy, just full of flavor.
Yeah, everything that you can find in your kitchen on the regular, he cooks with, and some of the shit is actually phenomenal. It's both
Some of it.
wild game and wild fish. So he's got a good mix of everything coming down the pipe here. We're gonna start off with what was the first one? It's a
That is
venison
a
dish.
venison neck roast.
That's what it is. So y'all that don't save the neck roast, now you probably should once you check out this recipe.
Yeah, if you
Seth
don't
definitely
save the
mixed it
neck
up.
roast, I'm telling you right now, I almost want to disown you, almost, but not quite, because that is probably some of the best roast on a deer. And if you're skipping that, you are missing out.
One of the things that I actually do with it is I make a pulled venison with
Yeah.
it, like a pulled venison. So I take it and put it in the crock pot. But I'm not going to ruin none of that shit. The roast thing that Seth made is out of this world. There's some fish recipes coming down the pipe too for you guys. So keep in touch with that and go and subscribe on our YouTube page if you haven't already.
Definitely. Well, I think we ought to switch the channel up here, get in another lane, and
Yeah, let's
look
add some
into something a
chains to the
little
mix.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what do you like to do when it's nice and cold and snowy out and you got time to run every 24 hours to check something? And I'm not talking trail cameras.
No. And we're not talking about the things you do in your bedroom with chains and whips.
Hey. We're talking trapping today, guys. So
Trapping.
let's go
Putting
ahead.
handcuffs on wild animals.
Fair enough. Touche. Let's load this thing up and get it rolling. What do you say?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Nice shot. Here comes a shooter. Shooter. Big buck.
Stack, stack, stacked.
All right, we're back on the phone with Peter. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How are y'all doing?
Doing
We're
well,
rolling.
man. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know you were busy out trapping today, and things are kind of crazy this time of year. So
Yep. All
thanks
good.
thanks for taking the time to do this with us. But why don't we turn the key, man, and get this thing in overdrive? Why don't you tell everyone who you are, where you're from, man, and what you do?
Cool. So, my name's Peter Dalton. I'm in Loudoun County. It's Northern Virginia. And yeah, I love hunting, fishing, and then trapping is pretty much one of my main passions. So, you know, aside from my main gig, you know, I trap for folks, run a nuisance wildlife control business, and just do that on the side. And, you know, I have a lot of fun with it.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And you don't do it in an easy part of the state. Kind of like we discussed before the show. Loudoun County is not the most outdoor enthusiast supportive communities in Virginia.
That's correct.
So what's it like running this kind of business in that part of the state?
You know, it's all about how you market it, man. So when I was first starting out, dude, I just got on Facebook because I have chickens myself, and I was on these, you know, chicken pages, and up here, like, people treat chickens like they're children. And so a fox would come in and eat 8 of them, and they'd be like, can anybody help out? And, you know, I just started throwing my name out there, and I mean, it just started snowballing. So, a lot of it, market it to different people. Horse people are worried about disease. So I'll push, that topic. And, there's some sheep farmers, they got the coyote issues. So you kind of just find their pain point and then go after it. And that opens up, a whole lot more.
Sounds like you've done some Sandler training.
So what made you get into it? Like what did you start trapping at a young age or?
No, so this is only my third year trapping, my second year canine trapping. I got into predator hunting just from watching like YouTube videos and the Fox Pro channel and stuff, and I was doing that. And a neighbor bought the farm. Like he didn't die, he literally bought the farm next to me, and he was like, we were talking about it because we went out fox hunting one night, and he was like, yeah, we used to trap them back in my day. And I was like, what do you mean you used to trap them like that? And so he was telling me. So I bought a dozen Duke dog proofs, man, and went out to, one of my buddy's spots, and I just set them along a creek with just some cat food. I didn't know what I was doing, and man, I got to the last trap of the day, and there was a coon sitting there waiting for me. And ever since then, it's just been, I got the bug, man, and I've just been trapping ever since. And I love it. I love it more than hunting or fishing. So that's how I got into it. I mean, I'm 34, and I started when I was 31. So, definitely didn't grow up doing it, just kind of stumbled into it. And I blame my neighbor to this day for the addiction.
So now now you have a full-time nuisance? That's what you do?
No, I'm actually in sales, just business development for a technology company. So I do this on the side. So some of they kind of have a general idea what I do, but I really keep it on the DL because they're they love PETA. So it's all good. But yeah, I've been I've been doing it. I just started my LLC actually like 4 weeks ago. I was just doing it cash under the table, but it just started snowballing, man. And finally I was like, man, if I can write off, truck and traps and ammo and everything, I might as well take advantage of it. So, I've been doing that and really opened up a lot more doors as far as trapping, for other people. Once you're licensed and insured, it opens up a lot more doors, and it's not that hard to get there.
So now you said that you've been trapping for 3 years, but canine trapping for 2. Is there like restrictions in your state that you have to do one thing over another, or?
No, I just didn't know what I was getting into, and coons are easy to trap, as you know. So I was like, I'll just try the raccoons and, basically cut my teeth and see how I do. And so then I did that, and then, moved to just foxes and coyotes, and, it just started snowballing. And, this year I dabbled in water trapping a little bit, and, it's just been kind of growing from there.
Because I know, like, so here in Connecticut, like, you have to trap for a full year. You have to have your regular trapping license for a full year before then you can go to take a land trapping class to get your land trapping permit. So that's why I asked. So we have to actually trap for a year before we can then get our land trapping, because of kind of those reasons where, those things that you run into when you're land trapping. There's a lot of animals that end up in traps that don't need to be in traps. And that's, I mean, that's par for the course, but they want you to kind of have the know-how to trap before you get into it.
Yeah. I'm honestly glad Virginia is a little bit more lax on that, because there was nobody around me that like knew how to trap really. So like my neighbor, he showed me how to set a trap like down, like in my basement basically. And he showed me how to skin a fox out. Other than that, like it was 100% YouTube, man. And just, trial and error, getting dug up, figuring it out, I say a lot of it is common sense, just being careful, where you're putting it, especially, trapping private land and stuff, just try not to be too close to the property boundaries and stuff like that. But, it was, luckily we don't have anything like that here. You just get your license and go for it. So that was kind of a blessing.
Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of crazy though, like when you are land trapping, because normally when you're water trapping, like everything's underwater, so you don't have to worry about it. Like anything that goes in the trap is supposed to be inside the trap. Whether, I mean, sometimes you catch a fish or two, but it is what it is. I mean, that's par for the course also, but and then when you get on land, I mean, there's so many things. Like we can't run snares. You can run snares, right?
So yeah, we can run snares. And I actually had the conversation with my buddy up in PA. I run cables just because I'm trapping such small parcels, man. I mean, I'm talking 120 acres, 200 acres, and there's just like people ride their horses, they have their dogs off leash. Dogs get lost around here all the time. I'm just worried, man. It doesn't matter how good of a friend you are with the guy who owns the land. You snare somebody's dog, you're not trapping there anymore. So I go the safe route. If I lose it, coyote or fox gets out of it or chews out of it, whatever, good for them. I just run cables to be safe.
So what's the difference? What's the difference between a snare and a cable?
So a snare will actually kill them, like it chokes down, to actually kill them. So in the morning, your fox or coyote is dead, whereas like a cable it just holds them. It can only cinch down so far, like it has a stop, so it won't choke them out. And I've heard people say like domestic dogs, they don't, if they get in a snare, they realize they're getting choked out and they'll actually stop. But I just don't want to take the risk. But yeah, that's the difference.
That's smart. That's really smart. I'm surprised that a lot of states don't shoot for using cables over snares.
Yeah, I think, speaking from like I don't know, I guess it just depends on the state. I've always said, like, I wish it were just like a federal, if they're going to make a law, like do it across the board for the country, but I think it just depends on, the state laws in the area. I don't know why they do what they do per state, but for me, like if I were trapping, I have a spot in Southern Virginia that's a hunt club. It's like 1,600 acres. I would have no problem running snares down there because there's probably, if a dog gets out there, it's probably a wild dog or a stray. I would feel bad, but it wouldn't be the same as if like, John 2 doors over, his dog gets out and gets into a snare while I'm trapping, the farm across the street or something. It's just different.
Right.
So, yeah.
Now, what when you're setting snares, is there like a certain distance that you set it off the ground to stop it from catching other animals, or like is there like a book regulation as to how you should set a snare?
Yeah, so there is. So in Virginia, it has to have like a deer stop. So basically, like when it cinches down, so a deer can pull away. And then there's like a breakaway device. And I think what's the weight? I want to say 285 pounds or something. But there's like a breakaway where like if a deer or something were to get in, it could break away and pull free. So you have to get Virginia legal snares. So like a local trapping supply, like you can buy just regular snares. You can build them yourself. You can buy them off like F&T or Southern Snares if you want, and then like tailor them. But the local guy, Blue Ridge Outdoor, he's in Elkton, and he sells the Virginia snares. So I just buy those from him, or I'll buy cables. But yeah, there's that. There's a law about snaring around carcasses. So like in Virginia, you have to be 50 yards off a carcass. So if you find a dead deer in the woods that a hunter didn't find, you just can't hang. Like in Alaska, they can hang snares all over the place. It seems like right up close to it. It doesn't matter. We have to be 50 yards off of it. And then it kind of depends what you're snaring for, the height. If you want a fox, rule of thumb, they say 8 inches off the ground, an 8-inch loop. Coyote is like 10 inches off the ground and 10-inch loop. So that's kind of the rule of thumb. And that way, if a deer walks by too, like it'll just knock it over. It's not going to get caught,
Right.
So I typically I'll run like 9 inches. I try to split the difference because we have a lot of fox. And so, I figure if I split the difference, I could get a coyote or a fox depending. So
That's awesome.
I'm interested to ask, since you've been doing a lot of the land trapping and canine trapping, there's kind of a one side or the other here in Virginia, at least where I'm at, about the increase in population of canine predators. As a trapper, what are you seeing? Is there an increase going on? Are you finding more now than you were 2 years ago? What's your perspective?
Yeah, the coyote population has definitely increased in the area. Just from like local Facebook groups, just like neighborhood groups, somebody will be like, oh my word, I had a coyote in my backyard, and you hear of people who, they're seeing them more, they're hearing them more. So I definitely think the coyote population has increased. The farmer I trapped, it was my first year trapping on his farm this year. He lost like 3 sheep last year to him. And so I pulled 2 off of there this year. So they're definitely, they're definitely increasing. And I've only been canine trapping 2 years. So it's hard for me to gauge like
Right.
how many, because I don't know if it was just like the first year I caught 1 coyote, and that was in, Williamsburg, which is much further south, and they have a huge population, and we were trapping like 24 hours a day, like just trying to catch one, because up here I didn't feel like there were that many. Now this year I've already caught 2, which isn't a huge number, but for our county, I'll catch 10 fox for every coyote I'll catch. The foxes are out the wazoo, but the coyotes, they're definitely increasing, man.
So are you're running other traps other than just snares, obviously?
Yeah, so I run the MB 550s. I love those. And then this year I actually bought the Duke 550s just to run a side-by-side comparison. They work great too. I got no complaints. So those are the 2 I run. I bought the 450s, the MB 450s. They're a little smaller. They're great for fox, but at that point you might as well just go with the 550 in case you catch a coyote. So that's just.
Are you running them with 2 coils or 4?
I run 2. Just because, the ground doesn't super freeze here. Now, this winter has been cold in Virginia, so I've been kind of struggling with the cold ground. My buddy runs 4 coil, and so he's always giving me a hard time about running 2 coil. But if you use wax dirt or peat moss and bed your trap, if you proof it real well, 2 coil's fine, man. I feel like 4 coil you need in like Wisconsin and stuff, where it's just like up where it's just like cold all the time and it's just freezing. And you need that extra oomph. Virginia, what, we get down to 20, 25,
it's kind of the norm for.
Right. Yeah, we're not getting down to, sub-zero temps here. So I think 2 coil. At least
real quick to cut back, just to explain, when you say 2 coil and 4 coil, what are you talking about there?
Oh, so, just the trap, when you go to set it, you'll see like there's 2 coils on one side. And if you run 4 coils, there will be 2 coils on the other side of the trap. And, a 4 coil, obviously it's a little harder to set, but it has more snap. It has more power because those are the springs that like are shutting the trap, So I run the 2 coil, which is just, in my opinion, it's fine for Virginia, but that's the difference.
Yeah. You don't have that hard freeze in the ground just
Right,
because we'll have a lot of people that'll listen, won't quite comprehend that picture of the jaw's open, it's under the dirt. If the dirt's frozen, 2 coils will either close it or not have enough oomph to close it in time.
Right. Yeah.
Or sometimes with the thaw and the freeze, what will happen is it'll pop the trap too. So if
that happened to me this morning.
Yep. If you get that thaw and that freeze, then if you run in a 2 coil, it'll actually set it faster and it'll actually pop the trap.
Yeah.
And we deal with a lot here because you have to make a lot of wax dirt. Like if you're not making a lot of wax dirt, you're not going to make it through the season as far as coyote season goes, because you're just going to be pissed off. They're going to be either frozen in or they're not going to go off. It's a pain in the ass. It is. You miss so many dogs because of it, and you can just see it.
Yeah.
That's the frustration of land trapping too.
Yeah.
All right, so Trev, I'm going to back you up. Explain wax dirt.
So it's this is Peter's job. No, I'm just kidding. No, wax dirt. So you take and you make a mixture of dirt and wax so that it literally doesn't freeze. So what you're doing is you're sifting. So when you make like your set and you make your, dude, I'm lost for words because it's been a long time since I've trapped. So when you're making like your bed, your pan bed for your trap bed, you dig it out, and then you take and when you cover over the trap and you sift over it, you actually use the wax dirt to cover it over instead of using regular dirt, which if it was to get wet, then it would freeze. The wax dirt doesn't freeze so that the trap can still function properly when there's the thaw and the de-thaw.
All right. Just wanted to clarify that for our eating Marines that may be listening.
Bro, like the testing in my head, like I don't remember half this stuff. So
that was spot on, man. That was spot on.
I trapped for quite some time. I just kind of gave it up because it's just too much. And then the hobby end of it, I just have too many
Yeah.
damn hobbies, so it's like one of those things.
That's my problem. And, this year, like we have, in Loudon, we have early firearm season. The whole month of September, you can shoot does firearms. So I just went out and blasted a bunch of does and filled the freezer and just basically sat around and waited for trapping season to come in. Like I just couldn't wait. It's just taken over, man. It's terrible. But yeah, I hear you on the hobbies between hunting, fishing, trapping, everything else. It's just, dude, it's a lot, man.
It keeps you, I mean, like everyone's like, Trev, I don't understand why you don't dog trap anymore. Like it's so much fun and you're good at it. And I'm like, bro, I don't have fucking time to be doing that. It's sea duck season right now. Like I don't want to be checking traps 24 hours a day. Like I can't do that, but it is fun, man. It's a lot of work. And like, I say it like you want to be a true sportsman, try and get a dog to step in a 1x1 square. That just divides the men from the boys then and there. Like stumping that dog and like snapping that trap in that dog's face, dude, and then trying to get him to get in another trap. Or, you want to talk about the smartest land animal ever is a coyote that's had a snap trap in its face.
Yeah.
You're not going to kill that dog. I mean, it's almost impossible.
See, and I'm with you there. And I will stand off and proudly say I don't even bother. One, I don't have the time to manage traps because if you've never ran traps, you don't understand how time consuming it is. Yep. And two, I'll call for them and I'll blast them at as far as I can see them and be happy with that because mainly I don't have the time.
Yeah. No, I didn't realize how time consuming it was till I started doing it, and that's the thing. Like I tell a lot of my buddies who predator hunt, and I got nothing against predator hunting. I like it too, but
we can tell, we can see your background.
Yeah. You can pick the crystal clear night. It's 30 degrees. You go out, no wind, slight wind, go call some dogs, bring them in, shoot them. But trapping, man, you got to check those traps every day. It doesn't matter if it's raining or sleeting or snowing. I mean, you're out there, you got to run the line, and it's just, so, my wife is the most patient woman on the planet. And, it's, and dude, just running the line, that's the easy part, man. Like, you run the line before work. And then if you catch stuff after work, you're spending time with the family, you're doing errands, you're doing whatever. And then you're out in the fur shed at 9-10 o'clock at night, skinning, fleshing, putting them on the board, stretching them out. I mean, it's a ton of work. And I always laugh when people say, oh, trappers are lazy. They go put a trap in the woods and wait for the animal to come and step on it. I just laugh. And I've thrown it out there to everybody. Like whenever somebody says that to me, I'm like, please come run my line with me 1 week and you will never call me lazy again.
Yep. Nope. So give me just a real quick rundown. That covered a lot of it, but say it's a very good day and you've got multiple traps went off. What would that be like, from sunrise till bed?
Yeah. So, man, it's like, where do you start? Like, basically, you're running your line. So like, you got to take care of, everything around the house first, right? Because you're going to be gone for the next hour or two, depending on how many you have out. And I'm blessed to trap very close to my house. So the 2 farms I've been trapping, I can just hop in my side-by-side and go across the street. I mean, it's awesome. But otherwise, you're driving, say, some guys drive an hour out to their spot, but, you get out, you're running the line, if traps have popped, deer have set them off, you got to rebed everything. If you catch animals, a couple days this year, I've caught 3 or 4 animals, on the same day. So, you got to dispatch those animals, you got to reset the trap, do everything. Then you got to, bring everything back, put it all in the fur shed. Then work, do whatever you got to do with the family. And then, then you're back out in the fur shed again at night. You have to, we say tube skin the animal. Basically, you skin it out, and then right now what I'm doing is I bag them and put them in a freezer. And then when trapping season's over, that's when I'll flesh them out, get all the fat off of them, and you put them on the board to stretcher to send to the fur buyer or the tannery if you want. But, I was running 2 farms over Christmas break just because my in-laws were here and I had free babysitting and stuff, and it was awesome. But man, I would leave at 7:30 and I would get back at 9:30, 10 o'clock. I mean, you're talking 2.5 hours. I was running like 30, 40 traps, you know, and then, you know, like I said, once you catch them, you know, depending on how quick you are at skinning and how many animals you got, you know, it could be another hour or two back out in the fur shed. And that's just skinning them out, bagging them up and putting them in a freezer. If you were to skin them and then flesh them and board them that night, I mean, even one animal, like if you can skin a fox in like 5 or 10 minutes, fleshing is probably like another 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then boarding it. I mean, you're looking at another 20, 30 minutes per animal if you're, you know, you're super quick, you know, so it's, you know, you catch 3 or 4 animals, you're at 2 hours, you know, it's just crazy.
Oh, definitely.
It
So-
never ends.
No, never.
Are you using a straight up old fashioned fleshing knife? Or
Yeah.
have you invested in the nice tannery style fleshing wheel that you just roll it over?
No, I have a fleshing knife and the fleshing beam and everything. And so that's how I did it. You know, last year was my first year, you know, fleshing everything and boarding it myself. But it was a ton of work, but it was awesome. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, scraping all that fat off, man, it's not easy.
I think that's like the heritage of it though, man. Like just getting down on the fleshing beam and just doing it, like just bringing it back, like the first shed, man. Like you say that, like that just brings so many good memories back.
Yeah. And it's
Nothing
one
like
thing.
being-
I love fleshing small game. After doing a couple of deer, you know, 15 or 20, and I've got 2 in the freezer, and then attempting to do a bear, I thoroughly appreciate small game.
Not when you're running a trap line at 250. Then
Right. So
then you're
it
not gonna
balances
appreciate
out.
it at all.
You know,
You're
15 minutes.
You don't want to see one.
If you're quick, if you're fast, and it's 15 to 20 minutes per, that's still 200 hours
Yeah.
versus, you know, say 3 deer. Okay, there's 6 or 7 hours.
Right.
So getting like once you get the land animals is fleshing is one thing. Then you get into the water animals and fleshing.
I've
It's a
heard they're
whole
terrible. I've heard they're terrible. My buddy, he trapped 2 beavers, and I skinned them out for him because I'd never skinned out a beaver before. I was like, I want to try this, and they're in my freezer. Like I've heard them and otters. I've heard otters are terrible, and I'm actually trying to trap an otter right now, and he's being a jerk. But yeah, so we'll see. I've heard they're rough, man.
It's just got a lot of fat on them. They're just
Yeah.
they take a little bit more time. They're a little bit more time consuming, but
It
they're not
makes you
bad.
really want to put a fine edge on that knife, even though you know you
Yeah.
shouldn't,
Right. Yeah.
because you just get sick of sliding up over it.
It's just a push motion. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just-
People just it's crazy. So as far as water trapping, like what kind of things you run minks and stuff like that, or muskrats?
Yeah, so
or...
like I said, I dabbled in it this year just because it was the first year I actually had water to trap. This farm had a creek, so there was beavers built a dam, and I was trying to trap them, man, but they would like build the dam and like disappear. Like I don't know where they went. So I would have traps out, and then like it would rain and it'd wash the dam, you know, down. They, you know, then they might come back and repair it. But yeah, there's beaver and otter in there. I know. I found an otter toilet. Otters poop in the same spot every time. So like I found an otter toilet. I haven't seen them. I've seen their tracks, you know, so beaver, otter, and then yeah, mink. I saw a bunch of mink tracks, and I had a bunch of sets out for that. But dude, I've been striking out. I'm terrible. It's my first year though, so that's kind of the way it goes. You know?
It's the learning curve, man.
Right, it is. But you know, part of the problem was I did not realize how high that creek could get and would flood. And dude, the first time I put my traps out and we got rain, they all washed downstream. I had to go get like, dude, 330s. I mean, oh my word, they were all. I found a bunch of them, thank God, because I had actually put some of them on chain and like wrapped it around a tree or on a drag. But yeah, they all washed downstream, and then I was just pissed off, and I was like, I'm not messing with this anymore. I'm gonna stick to coyotes.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the troubles with water trapping, is that like you got to always pay attention to the weather and what goes on, and know the stream and stuff, and just wire them in. And sometimes you go out there and you just snap them off, and then you got to go back and reset everything to get them back out there. I mean, water trapping is like its own thing. It's like a little maze.
Yes.
Like you have to try and figure out where that animal is going to swim through. So you like kind of like, I mean, like when you're trying to catch an otter, what do? You kind of block off the area so that they have to push themselves through one area. Is there any laws against trapping beavers near a hut down there?
No, and not in Virginia. No, it's like the Wild West for that. And actually, my county, you can trap beaver year round. So it's like a nuisance species down here. But I've just never had.
Trev.
Say what? Yeah, there you go, man. Come on down. That's just another reason,
We have a spring season here too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. But no, we don't have any of those, any of those rules. They're considered a nuisance species. Like in my county, we can trap beaver, possum, coon, coyote, and I think skunk maybe. I'd have to look at that one. But year round, we can trap quite a few critters. Wow. And that's just on the regular trapping license because they're building houses all over the place, man, and the critters don't have anywhere to go, sadly. So I think that's part of the reason,
So like with the water trapping, have you set any type of like crazy sets for beavers, like a caster set or something like that?
Yep. I did a caster set. I did a caster mound set. I did a dam break set, like where I physically went in and busted the dam out. It never came and fixed it. I did the caster mound set. It never came and checked that out. I actually caught a fox. I had like a foothold like on the bank too, because I was like, maybe if they come out, I'll catch them there. Wound up catching a fox. And dude, the otter toilet right now is like, it's booby trapped. I have 2 330s in the water. I have 2 220s on land. And then I have like a foothold. So 330 and 220 for the non-trappers, I guess they're conibears and they're body grips. So there's like a trigger style like this, and it's basically a giant rat trap. And when they swim through or they push their head through, the trigger sets it off and it kills them instantly. It's a very humane trap. But yeah, so the 330s, we can't use them on land here. They have to be in the water, but we can use 220s on land as long as they're not baited. So I have those like on a blind set going to the toilet, but I saw his tracks. He literally swam up to the 330 and got on a rock and went around it. It was.
So I'm curious. I got to ask, have you thought about putting a trail cam and putting it on video over the set?
So I have, and my buddy is always on me about that. He's like, man, you got like 10 trail cams sitting in your basket there. Why don't you put them out there? And I don't know. I would like to do it. But there's something fun about trying to outsmart the animal without the camera. And so I'm kind of a hard head. And I'm like, not that trail cameras are cheating. I know people who use them, and I think it's super smart because you can learn more about the animal approaching your set and what to do. But I don't know. I'm just stubborn, and I'm like, no, dude, I'm going to catch this without a camera, So that's just,
get that.
But I should put them on there because I would probably learn more in a 30-second video clip watching them approach my set than I would in months trying to catch them.
I just think it would be funny watching the otter come out and walk around your trap and no close just to go, he got me again.
Yeah. I don't know if I could deal with the frustration, honestly, because I started running cell cams this year for deer.
Yep.
And I pulled them out of the woods because I just got so mad. Like I hunted this one stand 3 days in a row, solid. The morning I didn't go, he walked by and there's the picture, and I'm sitting here eating breakfast when I should have been out there. And I was just like livid. And I was like, I can't do this. Like it just messes with my head too much. So I know if I had the same thing out there, even if it were a non-cell cam, if I was running it and I pulled the card and I saw him go around the set, I would just be too frustrated.
Yeah. No, I know the feeling. I went all year. This is the first deer season I've hunted without using trail cams. And it by far was my lowest production year as far as deer hunting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is way harder not having that intelligence.
Yep, I agree.
So I completely understand what you were going for. It's that outsmart, outwit, can I beat it at its own game on the same terms?
Right. Yep, exactly. So I definitely will run cams, sooner or later, but yeah, right now it's all part of the game.
Yeah. No, I respect that. I think that's a blast. It's fun.
Yeah.
I will say this though, I mean, water animals, they don't play by the rules. So
No.
you shouldn't play by rules neither. No.
Yeah, that's true. Dude, I don't know any animal that plays by the rules though. I feel like they're just the kings of their environment, man, and they'll do whatever they got to survive. I think that's what makes it so fun though.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you tried to like neck down a stream to try and get them to go through it like the otters? I know it's like one of my so if like it has like two little offshoots or whatever, put it like a 220 inside of it because if they're gonna go through there. The other thing, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there, not only for you but for like everybody else too, to like think about some of these things, like where a waterfall comes down and they have to have their head naturally go under. So you would take a stick and put it across the stream. So when they come down, their head is underneath, and then you have the 220 right underneath it. So when they dive in, their head's right in it, guaranteed. And they're moving in that fast water because what does an otter do? It just goes down the stream and just keeps going. So,
yeah, man, I've blocked them off. I was in like chest waders, like cutting like branches and like pounding them into the creek bank to like narrow it down and putting it. I did the dive stick. So when I broke the dam, I set that, the 330 in the break and like put sticks across it. He never went for it. I don't know what the deal is. I tried all of that, man, like tried blocking him down. And then the thing is that creek would flood. All my blocking, like my trap was still there. I was using those stands, and it would sit there, but dude, all the blocking was
Gone.
next county, so it was just like awesome. Like now I got to get in there and block this stupid thing out all over again. Like that's when I started, like I was literally land trapping for otters.
yeah.
I was like, all right, fine. Like maybe I'll catch you going to the toilet, like up on land. Like I've seen guys catch them in footholds, so I was putting like fish in a dirt hole, almost like you would for a coyote, just setting a foothold, trying to catch them and doing the.
Do you run them on drown sets?
I've seen those. I'm not set up for that. So a guy I know here in Virginia, he's good with otter and beaver, and he runs drowning rigs. He was actually going to come out and help me one weekend, but we just never connected. But I've seen those. I just don't have them.
Yeah.
And I know they work great. I've just never done one. So
it's one of those things too, like with the otters, like I hate to catch one in a foothold trap because I just know how furious those things are. Like they're like the most dangerous animals on land. Like I've had gone and had a stuck one in the 220 and it didn't die and the thing was flaring around and I was petrified. Those are the most dangerous animals. I would fight a lion before I fought an otter that was stuck in a trap, to be honest.
I have heard that, and that's the one thing that kind of scares me about them. And I was just like, well, if I catch one in the trap, I was like, I will bring a rifle, like a 22 rifle, and just shoot it from like as far away as ethically possible because I don't want to get near it, man. I've heard they don't call them water dogs for nothing. I mean, they're nuts, man. So
they're fucking mean as can be.
They are.
So what's some of the other trapping that you do? Kind of what some of the other traps that you use, like on land? I know you use dog proofs and so on and so forth.
Yep. Yeah, I love the dog proofs, man. I mean, that's how I got started. I tell everybody, if you want to get into trapping, that's the easiest way. Go get a half a dozen dog proofs, get some cable, you can tie it off to a tree. You can buy like, baits from people, or you can just buy like cheap cat food. Like we have a cat, so I always have cat food. Dump some cat food in there. I buy fish oil. You can buy it anywhere. I mean, this is stuff you don't even have to go to a trapping store for this, like you could go to Rural King in Front Royal and pick up some dog proofs, and head out and have your own line. And, cat food and fish oil, man, you'll catch every skunk, possum, and coon within, 5 square miles. That's an awesome way to get into it. So yeah, the dog proofs, the leg holds, obviously for canine, and then the conibears. I mean, those are the three main ones that I use. I did try to use a trap called a collarum, and it's basically a trap. I was using it because it was in a neighborhood, man, and I was just like, I can't be running leg holds in a. But it's this dude. You need a degree in engineering to put this thing together when it comes out of the box. But it's a giant spring that goes down. And there's literally, it's like a cable, but it's like a collar that sits down in the dirt. And there's a bite stick on it, and the coyote actually comes up and bites the stick, right? That sets off the trap. And when he bites it, it throws the collar around his neck and cinches down and holds him there. It is the craziest thing like you've ever seen. Like YouTube it, collar him. I think it's like the word collar and then UM. So I tried that trap out for a little bit. I didn't have a lot of success with it, but like I need it to be simple. You know, I know guys who use them with great success, and for like in neighborhoods and stuff, they're perfect because it literally just throws a collar around the animal. But that's a really cool trap, and I tried it. Just I was terrible at it basically. So
That's a tough. That's really like throwing a curveball in the mix, like
super curveball.
Trying to get him to bite a stick.
Yep. Yeah, it was like a T handle, like shaped like this, and it was a tube that came out from the trap, and you stuffed bait inside of it, and it would make them want to like reach down and bite it. And when they bit it and pulled, you know, that would snap the trap, and it would snap the collar around their neck, and it would just hold them like a cable restraint, basically.
Wow.
So that's a crazy trap that I tried to use. But yeah, man, other than that, you know, you got your typical cage traps. One of my goals is to get a bobcat in a cage trap this year, because bobcats, they go into cage traps real easy, apparently. Actually, one of my buddies hit me up. There was a place I caught 2 cats at last year, and that it just opened up. So we're going to try to hit it the last week of January. That's when we caught those 2 in there. And I want to get one in a cage, man. I really do.
Can I throw some tips out there if you haven't done it?
Yeah, please do.
When cage trapping with cats are very weird, like foxes are in cages, where the bottom of the cage has to be completely covered with leaves or like pine boughs or something. They have to be able to step on something. If they're stepping on wire, they won't go inside of the cage.
Right.
The other thing with cats is the cage has to be completely enclosed, where it's completely covered so that they can't, they have to go in a hole. You can't see the back. If they see the back, they won't, but they can't see through it. You have to make it so it's completely dark to get inside of it.
Right.
Cats are fucking crazy, and you have to make it so that they can't come from the back end of it neither. So we would put like a log jam across the back of it or something. I'm telling you, man, when you start, and we have to do a lot of cage trapping here. We can't run conibears on land. We can only land trap 4 coyotes. That's it. So we can only run like MB550s on the ground. Everything else has to be in water. So if we're going to land trap like for coons and stuff, like small dukes and stuff like that, we can run on land. Right. But cage trapping is, we have fisher cats here and we have bobcats. You can't kill bobcats yet, but we just had a fisher and fisher season. We have to catch them in a cage, but you have to like fucking stake down the cage, like take rebarb and put it, because they'll try and roll the cage to try and get it, and then they pop the pan, and then the door will end up dropping. One of the other things I learned too with cage trapping is taking the meat and wiring it to the back of the cage, so that they literally, if they do rock it, they can't roll underneath the pan, because a lot of the times the animal will get in there, rock it, and then the bait will come underneath the pan, and then they never close it, and they can just back right out of it. But
wow.
Cats are crazy, man. But when you get one in the cage, hold on.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I've been trying. Like I did exactly what you said. So like I dirt the floor. I completely brushed it in. And then here we can actually use like feathers. So like I got like a long stick, fishing line, have the feather hanging around it. I wired it to the back, and I just don't think we have a huge population here. I don't know. It's weird. It's like it's hit or miss. Like the spot I caught those 2 at, I didn't even know they were in there, and I wound up catching 2. And like the one farm I was running, it was like 200 or 300 acres. I was there for a month and I never caught one. And I'm like, you would have thought with all the coyote sets I had out, I would have snagged at least 1 cat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird. It's like they're here, they're not. But yeah, man, I'm gonna try at that spot, and I'll keep you posted. I bought some cages specifically for cats, like the tall, narrow ones.
Yep.
With the guillotine style door. So I'm looking forward to it. I would love to get one in there, man. But yeah, it should be cool. We'll see if I can pull it off.
Another thing to add to it, man, is put a CD with the feathers.
I've
heard
seen
about
guys
that.
do that. Does that really work?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
They're
Okay.
very curious animals, man. When they see shiny shit, man, they're like a kid with ADHD. They gotta be there and they gotta check it out.
I need to go find a bunch of old CDs I have laying around here, because I was wondering, maybe the feather just isn't, like I was using goose feathers. They're kind of dark, so maybe they just weren't seeing them, or it wasn't as attractive.
So I don't know if it means anything. Sometimes I'll use a pheasant wing. I'll take the whole wing and I'll tie it on there, and then I'll tie a CD next to it. But that wing, and then I'll take pheasant feathers and stuff and put it inside the trap, or chicken or whatever. But we're not allowed to catch them here. We're not allowed to kill them
terrible.
here. We were doing a study with the Department of Environmental Protection and was able to trap them.
That's cool.
So we got to mess around with them. But when you get those things in a tomcat in a trap, hold on.
Cool. When I caught the first one, so I had caught barn cats at that property, just like feral cats, man. I was like, oh, another one. And I was rolling up on my ATV. When I realized what I had, I about wrecked my ATV. I was so excited. I was like, oh my word. And I was videotaping because I was like, oh, we have another. And then when I realized it was a bobcat, I just sounded like I had a stroke, man. I just kept saying, it's a bobcat. It's a I said it like 50 times on video because I was so excited. Like I didn't know what else to say. But the
Sounds
best
familiar. It's a giant. It's a giant. It's a giant.
Yeah, man. You get pumped with that adrenaline, but
oh yeah.
I just used the catch pole. I didn't even shoot them, because you can choke cats real easy because their arteries are on the outside of their neck. Like they're dead in like 2-3 seconds, man. It's crazy. Like just put the catch pole.
And you close it on them, and the way they flip flop, they tend to break their own neck.
Yeah.
So
that was one of my forewarnings for a lot of the locals here, that if they do catch one in a foothold, do not put a catch pole on them. Don't even bother, because you will kill them.
Yeah.
99% of the time you will kill them with a catch pole.
They will flip flop and choke and asphyxiate instantly.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing I've seen people do, I've seen two methods. Like some people get like a big piece of plywood with handles and a V cut out at the bottom of it.
Yes.
And then they approach it. They put the V over the paw, so they're on the other side, release it, and then let it go. And then some guys take just like a Rubbermaid tub, and they'll cut a notch and they'll put it over the cat. So the cat's inside, but the paw is outside of the tub. And they just sit on the tub, and then they release it, and then they just pull the tub off and let the cat go. So I thought that was pretty smart. If you were coyote trapping, and we actually have a season here for cats, so like you could coyote trap year round though. So if you caught one, you wouldn't want to use a catch pole because, like you said, you kill it. So the tub method, or the piece of wood works really well, I think, and it's less stress on the animal too.
One of the things I found with cats too is felines in themselves, when you do let them out of a trap, like a cage, say you roll a cage, right, and they run out of it, 95% of the time the stupid thing goes out, about faces, turns, swells up every single time. And I'll tell you, you want to talk about hair standing up on the back of your neck, and where does it normally go? It runs past you as fast as it possibly can. One of the kids I trapped with, he had one literally, dude, he was kneeling on the ground. He rolled the cage, kneeling on the ground, and the thing about faced, snarled at him, and ran right at him and jumped over him and caught his hand with the claw when he went over the top of him and whacked him, dude. And all you could see,
just a nice little reminder.
That's crazy.
Kilroy was here.
Yeah.
I've heard like don't park, like if you're driving, I've heard don't park close to it, because I've heard of guys like they'll go to the nearest cover, and if your truck or your ATV is the nearest cover, dude, they will run in like under your truck or your ATV, and like guys have had them get like up inside their truck and they couldn't get them out. Like they got up inside the chassis or whatever and were like hiding up in there. I've heard horror stories of cats doing all kinds of crazy things, getting in, like they leave the door open and the cat, I've heard all kinds of crazy stuff. So they were like, if you're going to release one and you drove like your vehicle, park your vehicle 50 to 100 yards away, walk up and release it.
Wow.
That's just what I've heard, man. I don't know if that's true, but I've seen pictures of like cats under trucks and ATVs and stuff, they seem to run for the nearest cover. And if your truck is it, so be it, man. So like you said, they're just crazy. You just never know what they're going to do, you know?
That's one animal I don't really mess with. I'd rather mess with a fisher cat than I would a bobcat, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
We
I'm
can't
on the
trap them
fence
here,
there.
man. It's a
Well,
bummer.
what's
We
that?
don't have a season.
On fishers?
Yeah.
We don't have a season. We can't. If you catch one, you know, you got to let it go. I don't know what would happen if you caught one in a blind set, you know, like a 220 on land and you killed it. Like, I guess you'd have to call, you know, Department of Game and Inland Fishery, because
Well,
they're doing a study on them.
And that's the thing is, from what I've gathered, it's kind of like the mountain lions that aren't here. You know, hey, caught a fisher cat, and they'll go, okay, where are you? What's the location? Send us a picture. They'll get data and whatnot off of it, and they'll go, oh no, that's not a fisher cat. That's a squirrel. You know, because a lot of the mountain lions up here, especially in the Blue Ridge, is people are getting trail cam pictures. People are trapping them, and Game and Fish is going, oh, it's a big bobcat. We're going, you're full of shit. A bobcat doesn't have a tail.
Right.
You know, but it's one of those things that you would just call DNR, or in this case, what is it?
DWR.
DWR, Department of Wildlife
Resources. Yeah.
They changed it this year. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would just call it, report it. And it's one of those things that since they don't exist, they can't regulate it. So if it dies, it dies. If it doesn't, it doesn't. They can't punish you because they don't say it's here.
I know Pennsylvania, they have a season for them up there.
Yeah.
I'd love to go up there and trap one, man. That's a bucket list animal for me. I think they're super cool. Trevor, maybe I'll come visit you, man.
Come on up, man. We'll run a trap line. I got plenty of property to do it on.
Dude, that would be awesome. I would totally be down for that. I would come for a week, man. Just hit it hard, and I would love to catch a fisher.
And the thing too, I got a couple of public lands. You could buy a bid here for $100, and you get like 5 different parcels of public land to do it on, and nobody traps public land here.
Wow.
So it's not, you can water trap there and you can cage trap. You just can't land coyote trap. But I'll tell you, catching fishers is fucking easy.
Really?
It's simple. You run a cage trap. Their favorite thing is skunk. Don't know why. Beavers and skunk, right? So fucking
like
crazy.
the other
right?
guy.
That's crazy.
So what we do is we run a cage, same thing, cover the bottom, completely burrow the whole thing, can't see through the back. We use beaver legs. We put beaver legs in the back of the trap. We have fisher call, which is literally skunk shit. It smells like straight skunk. And that's your bait. You put some call out on the outside, call it done, man. Any type of cedar swamp, pine areas, they load right up in them, and you'll catch them.
No way. Yeah, man, let's do it when season rolls around next year.
Yeah, I think it's like December time, dude. Come on up, man. I'd love to run a trap line, man. I miss it. I honestly do. And even talking with you, man, got me kind of jacked up. I might have to go fucking dye some traps.
Yeah, I'm thinking about running to Rural King in the morning and picking some stuff up, and
do it.
I've got all sorts of shit running around the farm out here that it's like, you know what, I should, and they're killing the chickens, but I just haven't done it. So now you got me kind of jacked up about it.
Yeah. I think it's cool, man. And so where can everyone kind of find you to kind of follow along? Because you kind of keep up with everything. I know, like on your stories and everything, and it's really cool to follow, man. It's definitely got me all jacked up.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So Instagram, man, it's Hunt Country Wildlife. So I think it's hunt_country_wildlife_ is the thing. And then I have a Facebook page too. But yeah, I mostly roll with Instagram just because I like doing the stories, and I think, talking out loud on the stories helps me think better. So, I post a lot of stuff, if you're bored, just hit just swipe left and skip it. But, yeah, that's where you can find me, man. And I'm trying to work on a YouTube channel. I've had a lot of people, tell me like, man, you should start a YouTube channel. So I do have a YouTube channel. And I'm hoping I probably won't do it this season just because it's already middle of January, man. But, I was hoping next season to, film a little bit more and just do some like how-tos and like crafting videos and stuff on YouTube. So, Yeah, if you want, you can hit subscribe on YouTube, but there's no videos there to subscribe to.
It'll
Well,
come.
I'll tell you what, if you get bored, since you're right down the road from me and you want to play around with some video stuff and whatnot, give me a shout, brother. I'll run up and gladly help you do some production work.
And that'd be awesome. I appreciate that. I will definitely take you up on that because I bought the camera, I bought the gear, I have everything I need. I honestly, the hardest thing is like you having somebody film you. You know,
Yep.
it's very tough to self film. So
Yeah,
you know, if you're
GoPro
running
footage
around with
only
your-
goes so far.
right. Yeah, exactly. So like having the cell phone or even a GoPro, like, you know, that's one thing, but like I have a real nice, you know, Canon, you know, Mark III. I mean, it's like professional, but I just don't have, you know, I don't have anybody to hold it, you know, for me while I'm doing it, you know, and you're in the dirt and the water and the skunk stink and the animals. And like, you just don't want that all over like this camera, you know? So it's like, I just run with the cell phone and it's all good.
Yeah. Let me know, dude. I'd be happy to set that up. It'd be a fun collaboration.
Awesome, man. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, brother.
So one of the questions we do have for you, and you're a listener, you know, what drives you outdoors, man?
Man, you know, what drives me outdoors is just, you know, nature and just being out, interacting with the animals, and the peace and quiet, you know. Like I said, I'm in tech sales, so I'm in front of a screen. I'm on these Zoom calls all day long, you know, and I'm just sitting there talking with people, and the hours just seem to drag. And, you know, I could be on an hour work call. It'll feel like 5 hours, you know, 1 hour on the trap line feels like 5 minutes, man, you know, and I just love being out, you know, being outdoors, enjoying, you know, God's creation, everything that's out there, trying to catch critters, you know, trapping. I think, you know, what really drives me with trapping is it's a very, you know, you can bring friends and family, you know, like it's kind of like bird hunting, you know, you're in the blind with everybody and you're cutting up and you're talking, you know, deer hunting, you know, it's a very like solo pursuit almost. Maybe you have a cameraman, but other than that, it's like, you know, sit in the stand, you know, be quiet, soul crushing, you know, you're waiting for that deer. Trapping, you know, I can throw my 15-month-old daughter and my wife into the side-by-side and drive around the line and catch critters and set traps. And you don't have to worry about being quiet, and you can spend that quality time with your family while you're running the line. So, you know, I think that's just what drives me, you know, just being outside and, you know, it's a blast, man. I wouldn't have it any other way, you know?
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Well, Peter, we can't thank you enough for joining us, man. This has been a blast, and I know it's got me kind of jacked up and wanted to do some new things to carry me over till turkey season. So
Yeah, man. Save the
we'll
turkeys.
we'll get together and get some things rolling there. And for everyone out there listening, can't thank you guys enough. It's been a great year up till now, and next year is going to be incredible. And thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.